A very warm welcome to this show here at Farm
Monday.
Drive. Of course, it's a Monday.
Yes.
Of course, welcome to Farm Drive here at AFarmers Media with me, Brian Munda.
And me, Masike Wonto.
You know, somebody today I was reading some meme that was saying that if you love Mondays,
Then you have... Okay.
there's something happening in your workplace.
Yeah, there's something happening that excites you and makes you await for the day.
For every day. Of course, today is a lovely day. I would like to you.
It's a fantastic day.
It's a fantastic day.
But still, it's Monday. Yes, but it's a fantastic day. The fact that it's Monday, 20 minutes ago, we were just here doing the weekend review.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. True.
And like we're here again.
Funny enough, that's too fast. It's really interesting. Today is a busy day for news because there's so much information out there today. There's so much breaking news. I don't know if you've heard about the Boeing 737 airplane that has crashed in South China.
Not heard of it.
That's breaking news.
That's
of course.
Breaking news.
Yeah,
It's
there's a Boeing 737 that has crashed in South China. It had carried 133 people.
Oh.
Yeah. And actually, I think my director will pull it up in just a few. But actually, those were the live scenes. And that is how it landed. I hope you can see in just a few. You can see how it landed. It nose dived. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it come down. Yeah, you can see it. It nose dived. And do you see what's the after effect? It's that 133
people.
Yeah, of course. That's footage that we have gotten from different social media posts. But 133 people. It's said to be the 8th worst accidents by Boeing. It's really interesting. I remember how it was when Ethiopia had
the
Ethiopian airline.
Sending our condolences.
Yeah, we send our own condolences to people who have been affected. And I'm sure, I hear that still the count is still ongoing. The count of people who have been lost. But so far, there are no numbers that have been confirmed. But, wow, I don't know. I don't know how many people will survive out of that.
It's sad.
It's really sad.
You can see even the after effect, it's bad.
Yeah,
so imagine, true. Like how it landed and exploded.
Yeah, how it exploded. And you can see how it nose dived. It's really interesting. Well, we send out some condolences as AFarmers Media family. And we hope...
He'll get through this.
Yeah, we'll get through this. Of course, also one of the countries in Africa, DRC Congo, DR Congo.
DR Congo.
So DR Congo has been, accepted, has been signed, it has been registered to the East African community. It's part of East Africa now.
But it's a bit far, a little bit far.
Because you're in Kenya.
Not because I'm in Kenya, but the East Africa community, we're used to, like, it's just around Kenya, like the countries somehow, it happens somehow. Yeah. Most of the countries are the countries that are surrounding Kenya. So,
but you know what? I think Kenya is just, you can be in Nairobi, but then it's closer to Mombasa than it's closer to where, for example, Kisumu. I would say so.
Nairobi.
Yeah. Ever been there? Actually, I don't know. Ever been there?
Closer to Mombasa too?
I think
Nairobi
it's closer to
Mombasa than compared to closer to Kisumu.
Yeah.
It's almost the same.
Close to the same.
Close to the same.
But then Nairobi is not the central of Kenya.
No.
You know that?
Yeah.
But again, somebody from Nairobi might say...
that they're at the center. The center. That's what it calls it. Like, we're somewhere located in, like, katikati.
Yeah.
Actually, people think that Nairobi is katikati.
Yeah, people always think that.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think, okay, is it that Kenya might be, far from Congo. But then, remember that Congo is close to Uganda.
Uganda, yes.
Who are friends.
Just neighbors,
And it is very close to Rwanda and Burundi.
Let's say just because it's Kenya.
Yeah.
And Kenya has already been surrounded by other East African communities. So it's sort of like another chain.
Yeah.
Say. Like it's another one.
Exactly.
We're not neighbors, like we're not sharing boundaries per se. No, that's why I think we're finding it like
exactly.
Congo.
Of course, before Congo joined, it was 6 partner states, which was including
Kenya,
Burundi,
Rwanda.
Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan. That's interesting matter. The Tanzania, and the Uganda. Now Congo is part. Now one interesting thing that you need to know about Congo joining is that in East Africa they've been pushing for a free trade zone where it's like there are no boundaries. It's like you're gonna
import export.
Yeah, you can import export. There will be no taxation that comes with being in a community.
It means it's just like Kajiado County and Nairobi County.
Exactly.
There's no way you're going to pay for your goods, maybe to remove your goods from here to Nairobi.
Yeah, exactly. And now the other side of it is now they've been pushing for one visa. Actually, I think there's one already.
Yeah, there's
one visa
for an East African one.
In East African one. So that means that Congo can now easily export into Kenya, and Kenya can easily export to Congo. But that one interesting thing you need to know is that Kenya imports to Congo more than Congo imports from Kenya, and there's a very huge deficit. And I'm sure Madam Director is going to pull it up in just a few. Kenya imports from Congo. We start with wood. It's the largest. And of course, we have fruits, oil seeds, coffee, tea, and spices. It's really interesting that we import tea from Congo.
I'm actually seeing this for the first time. Like, okay, not like today, not being the first time, apart from the preparation part of the show. But today, actually, it was the first time I knew that we actually import tea from Congo. The way we have...
We have so much tea.
We have so much tea.
But I think maybe...
pass through Kericho. Wow.
Exactly. But I'm here thinking maybe our Kenyan tea is high quality. But then, Kenya is in trade with different countries.
So it does more of export.
Yeah, it does more of export.
Than feeding
exactly.
locally.
Exactly.
Okay, now
so that's the case. Of course, as you said, wood is the largest. Remember the ban against I'll just say deforestation. As simple as it is. Now, what Kenya exports to Congo? You can see tobacco right there. I'm sure you always use Mombasa Road, and you can see some company that does tobacco and stuff.
I see just like some few meters from Syokimau. Is it Syokimau?
Yeah. I think it's called Mastermind.
Yeah,
Mastermind Tobacco. Actually, I always find that name so fine.
It doesn't look like it does such.
Yeah. Okay, first time I heard Mastermind was,
that's a cool name.
That's a cool name. And then I saw tobacco and I was like, oh man. Okay.
Wait, what? No, they're not relating.
Anyway, so of course, apart from wood, we do also import sugar. We do also export sugar, sorry. We also do export from Kenya to Congo.
To Congo, yeah.
We do also export sugar. We also do export vegetables somehow. But then one quite interesting one that I'm going to ask Madam Director to pull up for us is the trade balance. Now, trade balance is export versus imports. So, for example, if you're importing more than you're exporting. So now, quite interesting, as I told you, Kenya is importing more than it's exporting. You see, as we said, wood is the largest, fruits, oil seeds, coffee, tea,
and spices.
This is what we import from Congo. And then what we export from Kenya, these are agricultural, agricultural products. And now what we do export to Congo, Kenya tunauzia ni tobacco, sugar, animals. Remember, animals, vegetable fats and oils, cleavage products. Animals, do you remember? There's a time that Ruto, Deputy President, did draw a remark that, Congo is such a huge country, lakini hawana ng'ombe. Of course, now once you look at that, Kenyan imports, Kenya imports some in 2020. These are statistics from 2020, where we had one of the largest export imports. Good statistics where Kenya imported 235,233 million. That's million.
That's million.
Yeah. US dollars.
Okay, this is US dollars.
Yeah, US dollars worth of imports. But then did export a very small fraction. That's 66,351. Once you look now at the trade deficit, as I told you, you need to balance in between export and import.
And import, yeah.
Now Kenya is on the deficit. It's not exporting enough. So it has a deficit that's close to 2.5 times what it is importing. What it is exporting to Congo. So I hope that now that DRC Congo is part of the East African community,
things are going to get better.
Yeah, exactly. The free trade zone.
Even if it lowers down fast to being like just a deficit of, let's say, just the 1 times 1 of it.
Yeah.
Then 2.5. That's like a lot.
Yeah, true.
Considering we are producing.
Yeah.
Where they produce going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have seen also banks go to Congo of late. Equity Bank did open a branch in DRC. Also, KCB is also aiming at the same. He wants to venture into the Congolese market. Just a few months ago, I remember there was a delegation of Kenyan investors that went to Congo to just survey
and see
opportunities.
What they can do.
Exactly. It's
because I think Congo has like this wide variety of opportunities.
Yeah, true.
And now Kenyans are
okay. So now you can imagine that you don't need much to go to Congo right now to go and invest in that.
Because there's this barrier that has been removed.
Yeah, there's that trade barrier. There's that barrier of movement in and out. And now you can imagine that some of the politicians in here and also investors have large tracts of farm in Congo. Where they do what they do. So they have planted so much, for example, maize, cereals and stuff.
It's weird enough, you can actually find a Kenyan with a farm in Congo and actually exporting goods to Kenya.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? It's really interesting. It's really interesting. That's what they do because they know the cost of production in Kenya is high. It's relatively high. Even once you look at the fuel prices alone, high. Fertilizer here is taxed. As I told you, we are a country where we trade so much. Now, in the process of trading, we want to raise enough revenue to repay our national debt. Now, you see, in order to pay that national debt, you need to trade so much. So, and taxation is high.
Okay. But, the problem comes in when that they always, the Kenyan government always has something to lean on. Like, if the gas prices are high, it's the war. Ukraine and Russia.
Yes, somehow things happen, but interesting.
Like somehow, like I don't know if it's a very can't call it a good coincidence because it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Because there's no way like the moment the gas prices are going high and the fuel prices are going high, at the same time we have war. So we're trying to figure out this coincidence. It's not adding up.
It's really interesting. And the cost of production of Kenya, of course, it's a topic that we're going to talk about in just a few because, it's something that we have always talked, but then right now it's as if the Ministry of Agriculture is listening to people. But how it looks right now is that if the cost of production in Kenya is high, because of buying seeds, fertilizer and everything, even moving, it's high. Well, they go even find even 10 acres, let me say or even 100 acres, in Congo, plant maize, then bring it here. Because remember, one of the one senior leader in the government has large tracts of land in Congo. And what they do is, they do produce for their farms, but then do you know why? Because they have large farms that do consume unga very highly, because they have a project that, kuna kuku. So once you look at the cost of feeds in Kenya, it's really high. So what they choose to do is afadhali ni invest huko nilete huku economics of scale. Yeah, hata tukitoa mafuta ni nini either way.
People are smart.
Yeah, people are smart out here.
But the thing is, for example, for the gas prices, you find that one import, let's say one import of gas, can actually last us up to 5 years.
Yeah.
So there's no way just prices are going to like fluctuate once and go that high in a span of like 3 months. And the amount of gas that we have was imported probably 2 years ago.
Yeah, actually, it's the value chain of gas is really interesting. It's really interesting because it's the geopolitical war happening in between Ukraine and Russia. It spiked fuel prices within 2 days in US, France, UK. And what I always want to think is because of it's not, the effect always comes directly from the reserves. Reserves mali zinatolewa wana mine your oil,
then mali sort of storing it.
Exactly. Now, once they know that the reserves and the mines are going to be affected, they always know that supply itakuwa affected.
So the
commodity
lessen.
Exactly.
They listen what they're giving out.
Exactly. Now the commodity is in high demand. We will say that demand is still constant. Now what it does is that once there is, for example, it's like I would say it's like bonds. It's like a market, where you once I hear that maembe imekatika season at once, ama barabara imeharibika imekatika at once hivi,
so increase the prices.
Exactly, because this commodity is what is in the market right now,
yeah.
And it has high demand, so they push the prices high for the highest bidder somehow.
Okay, the highest bidder gets it. Okay, I see. But it's so, I think that's why they're doing it. That's why even the fertilizer, I don't know how fertilizer are imported from Russia or Ukraine, or the components of making the fertilizer.
Both. They are imported from both. So the biggest problem right now is that some fertilizer company, first some fuel company has moved out of Ukraine and Russia. Actually, sana Russia. And when it comes to fertilizer, the problem is quite deep. That first, it's a global issue. That, for example, there are no containers for fertilizer right now. There was Aziz from Kokoli. Yeah, from Egypt. He said that he has been trying to import some stuff, and it's hard because of the containers. There's a shortage of containers. Some containers being held by quite a few other issues. Once you go down that road, it's gonna be long.
I know it's a long road, and I'm getting to understand that if, for example, if the fertilizer prices go high, it's because the demand and the fact that there's no distribution right now.
Yeah, it's as if the value chain has been disrupted.
So they have to increase their prices so that they can buy some time to bounce back again.
Exactly. And another problem is even the raw material is facing quite a few challenges in extraction and manufacturing. So, I don't know. Right now we have global problems, and the last thing that we can also pinpoint on is the fact that we are post-COVID economic recovery.
Okay, so you're trying to bounce back to where we were 2 years ago.
Where we were. You see, the demand is rising. The manufacturing
because people are trying to get back on their feet a little bit. They're trying to be somewhere. So the demand is actually increasing.
Yeah. The demand is increasing. Exactly. It's like demand short. But
I think this year people are actually doing good compared to last year. People are trying to get back on their feet because you can't be stuck at one place.
True. And of course, talking about the economic times, when his budget all is read, inasomagwa every June. Something around 10. Yeah, exactly. Every fiscal budget. But now, today, there's been news that, from the Treasury, National Treasury, that Cabinet Secretary Kuretani is going to read the budget early, which is April next week, but on 7th.
Okay.
Yep.
And I don't know why when it comes to almost the time for reading the budget, and even things get even higher.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was watching one of the exposés on how crowds are hired, and it's really interesting because quotations of how much MPs do use, members of parliament alone, not even presidents, members of parliament use, some years back they used to use maybe something around 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 to mobilize one rally. Do you know what they're using right now? Close to 1.5 million. One rally. That's the budget.
That's for an MP.
For an MP. You know how much that is to them? The salary is always something around 900,000, 800,000, even a million, which means
with all those other
exactly,
things.
Exactly. Now you can imagine in the way that politicking started early enough.
So you can imagine how much
one is using. 1 month you use close to 4 times your salary if you're going to have a rally at least once in a week. And you know it's hard because the fundraisers, it's when now you need to be seen. Of course, in those this rally,
fundraising functions,
exactly.
You're expected to be seen like everywhere,
everywhere,
weddings, birthdays. It's supposed to be seen like
exactly
right now.
Yeah.
Like if you're not seen, like people like, we don't know you.
We don't know you. We've never seen you.
And what exactly do you want?
Exactly.
You see, you want what? What?
Yeah.
For where?
You see, now you can imagine that's an MP, 1.5 million.
So you can imagine.
You can imagine.
Let's say a lesser person, governor, no senator.
Yeah. Look, you know, senator. You know, even for senator, it's something very small. Like you never know something. Senators don't have a budget. Senators ni kama advocates, but then they're never paid. Wanapatiwa tu mshahara. So senators do not have a budget, but Kenyans always believe that a senator, governor, MP, wote wako pamoja na women rep. Wote wako pamoja, national politics. You can imagine. So explain how we have one governor, we have one senator, but the governor has more money kwa ground zaidi yako ya senator. So they always ranked close the same way. So senator ushinda kusema sina budget ya kwangu.
Mimi sina budget, mimi na budget tu.
So all these factors, and then even there's so much disruption that is happening already in the political scene. Of course, business must not be necessarily the way it was maybe last year, maybe or a year before elections, on a normal year, because there's so much disruption. Because political rallies bring in it's not so good for business.
Some tensions. Let's say tension.
Exactly.
There's these tensions. Maybe people are actually there's a Twitter I saw somewhere that people are actually afraid of. We are trying to get back on our feet, yes.
Yeah.
But what if? We're taken back to scratch again.
You can now imagine.
This is something that has happened one.
Yeah.
So you're not sure if it's going to happen again or it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
So you're like afraid, what if I set up, I spend all my savings and everything because I know I'm going to get back to my feet, yes.
Yeah.
But in the next 3-4 months, I'm back to scratch again.
Exactly.
So I think people are buying some time here. Maybe things are going to get good, let's say early next year.
Early next year. And really interesting, even early next year, if you look at the graph of how the GDP growth is always affected every electioneering year, every time it takes a dip. Somehow. I don't want to talk about 2007, that was an extreme case where the GDP close went to 0%, to negatives. But once you look at 2013, it did fall. 2017, it did fall.
Like not that much, but it did fall.
Yeah, it did fall. And now the effect of the cost of living is that there's more taxation, you know,
in trying to recover.
Because again, remember, the cost of elections is very high. And you know, it's the role of national government to fund elections.
Okay.
You know that? it's the role of national government to give IBC money to run an election.
It's just not like 2 pennies.
Exactly.
You have like more than like, I think more than 10 or I think 50,000 or more employees.
Exactly. You know, clerks alone. So much. Once you go to returning officers and all those superior people.
We have like those people doing the registration right now, so they have to be in the budget.
Exactly.
So in the National Treasury is trying to recover.
Exactly.
Because it does spend a lot.
Exactly.
So they have to do some things here.
Procurement is high. Do you know procurement of equipment alone, kits? Very high.
Okay.
And now that's where the Treasury always wants to increase some bit of taxation, want to leverage on every possible revenue that comes
that they get
to the exchequer. So now about that, now the funniest thing is that we are post-COVID, global crisis. Also our debt situation is even higher. Of course,
there was a loan that was taken. How many?
10 billion.
A week ago? Yeah.
10 billion from the World Bank. 10 billion. So once you look at all that, actually that 10 billion, well, it is post-COVID economic, recovery. But remember, more of Kenyan elections have always received some boost in terms of funding from grants from international communities, organizations, and also from, I think, the World Bank, I think so. So it's as if, you cannot always come back to us for grants. You need to be self-sustaining. And remember, the same government has been campaigning since 2017, 2018.
Since, like, immediately after the elections?
Exactly.
Then the campaigns began again.
And do you know what the funniest thing? IBC chairperson of Village Bukati said that we cannot afford a rerun.
The same round.
Exactly. So it's no rerun.
It's once.
Exactly.
And if by any chance we must have a rerun, then that's another debt.
Another one. Deep, so deep. Because, as I said, all those factors.
Expenses are almost going to be the same.
Exactly.
Because it's the same people, equipment. Okay, the equipment might be there, but the expenses are almost going, as the Tachana Sana, it will be a very small gap.
Yeah.
Having a rerun.
Exactly.
So we like sort of have a long way to go.
Yeah, we have a long way to go. And in such a situation where the cost of living is high, the cost of living has been pushed high by, for example, the cost of inputs. And also we are in the economic recovery stage where jobs were lost, and now this trying of creating
new jobs.
Yeah, new jobs, getting back to the old jobs.
Get back on the feet. Like, it was such a big blow.
Exactly.
Like, to everyone.
Exactly.
Everyone. You might have survived your job, but maybe the payment went down.
Exactly. Now, you as a company, you can no longer give an excuse of, why we're post-COVID. At a mask to member to toy.
So
what are you waiting? Why are you not returning my salary back to normal?
It was. And why are you overworking me?
Exactly. All that.
That time you couldn't complain, because like, if I complain, I'm going to stay at home. Then that's it. So I'd just rather be here, overwork, but at least I have something on my table.
Exactly.
But right now, the pressure from the employees to maybe to the CEOs, then the pressure, like, there's this stairs that the pressure is going
Exactly.
up. Yeah.
So every business entity, may it be a company, may it be partnerships, may it be, anything that it is, it's in the process of recovery.
And the number of people that they had.
Remember too, in the same year, 2020, 2021, commercial banks opted to accelerate their loaning. If there's a year that loan books grew, the loan book is basically the people, for example, it's like a profile of people who have requested money by loans. And so much, very many big banks did optimize on that. They maximized on that.
Because the interest that are going.
Exactly.
People are smart.
And you know what they did? Right now, 6 months grace period is done, 2 months grace period is done. You have to pay.
And if you don't?
Exactly. Remember, your business, did not do so good.
You might actually be able to to pay like the first 3-4 months, then
exactly.
Start now I don't know what they call. If you don't pay a loan,
Auctioneering.
they auction your things actually, or even they like some sort of give you a penalty.
Oh yeah, of course.
The penalty is now getting higher because
exactly.
If I don't have an option, I don't have an option. I'd rather even leave this loan to increase. If they're not going to auction my things, then ile time mtapata pesa, hata kama itakuwa imefika times 4 of what I borrowed, I have to pay it back either way.
Either way, you have to pay. And so many loans were also restructured. Restructured in terms of increasing of I think they're called monetariums. Monetariums. Exactly. The period that you're going to use to repay your loan. And of course, so many businesses were restructured. Did you know that? Restructuring includes looking into your business model, seeing, you've been doing maybe processing food for children, school-going children, but then shule zilifungwa. So how about then, using the same facilities to do rentals? Because you have a structure. You can do rentals. That's why we saw there was a time that schools
when
turned
school
to be
opened, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
There was like a decrease of the total number of, by I think 1,100 and something.
Yeah.
Like the schools reduced.
Yeah, schools reduced.
So a number of schools. You can imagine if we have 1,100 schools, each with an average of like 400 students.
Yeah.
Those are like so many children who don't have where to go.
Exactly. Exactly. So you can imagine many businesses are restructured. There's some who went the PPE way. Tengeneza mask, tengeneza vitu za sanitizing. The health, I don't know because I told you, I don't remember the name. But so much happened, and now we're going back to our normal life.
So mask, for now, mask is a normal.
Mask, okay. PPE ni kama supply, demand imeshuka, so which means kama ulikuwa na stock ulikuwa umeweka,
so you have to
think
of what to do.
Yeah. And now, I remember when the pandemic was starting, I had James Mongi from Equity saying that according to their own intelligence, and of course, information that they do gather, forecasting was 3 years recovery. And here we are 3 years later.
It's going to be 3 years.
So
you can actually see when like the pandemic started immediately.
Yeah.
All these things to do with COVID, the mask, the sanitizers, all those things. They were like, you could actually buy a mask for 1 at 20 bob.
Yeah.
Or actually even 1 at 30 bob.
Yeah.
But now you can find 3 masks at 10 bob.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're clearing out the
stock that they have.
Yeah.
And now trying to figure out what can we do?
Exactly.
What can we use?
Yeah.
What can we make out of this, what we have here?
Exactly now. That's the situation. You know, and
it actually stretches across went now to agriculture.
Exactly. And then remember, as I told you, banks did maximize on that period. And, you know, for bank, I'm trying to see how banks think. Because during when that was announced, as I told you, that was announced before when COVID hit the country.
When the lockdown was.
Exactly. When the lockdown came in. And then, you know, banks should always be ahead. And that's why they rolled out loan facilities, loaning credit facilities, big time.
Because they already, like, the budget's like, not even the budget, they have like
exactly
3 years, 4 or 5 years ahead.
Exactly. And you know what? One interesting thing, most of the businesses that were loaned were women-led. Now, the reasoning for that has always been the fact that
women fear debts.
Women pay their debts.
They fear, so they rather pay.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no I'm going to stay with that debt. They pay. Yeah.
And then women are good at leading the businesses. So they know the management of debt repayment will be super fine. So they did that. Well, I don't want to talk about men, but one interesting thing that you're going to see out of the COVID-19 pandemic is that there will be an increase in women-led businesses.
Because they were given more.
Like, they were given more.
They are, I can say whatever their platform was way much better compared to men.
Yeah.
Like it was like, yeah.
You
need money to do what? Start a business? Yeah.
Exactly.
But for a man, you need what? Money to do what? start a business. Why? And how you're going to repay it. You see, like, that's how I think it was.
Yeah.
It was like naturally. It's just natural.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find like a woman being akifuatiliwa sababu wako na deni.
Yeah.
It's very, because you're like, I know. Maybe you think of the shame, like you think ahead. Now, what if it comes back to my family and these people start auctioning my things? No, I'd rather pay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see that is the reason as to why banks went big on women, women-led businesses. And fast forward, we're in the year 2022, close to half the year. Well, we're just in the quarter, but of course,
time is moving quite fast. Like the next, it's almost April is almost here.
Yeah, it's almost here, and now debts have been have to be paid.
Yeah, now they've started demanding for their money.
Exactly.
Back.
The high cost of living is more of it post-COVID economic recovery. Of course, now the geopolitical war and everything around. Well, geopolitical war ni kitu kidogo tu, it affects sana. I won't lie to you.
But if things go the way they're going, like
Yeah.
if things go like quite good, then it won't be of an impact.
Yeah,
of such.
not as much.
But now if things go south, then that
Yeah.
means
Yeah,
we're going now to start again recovering from
we'll go south.
politics, COVID,
Exactly.
and we'll have to, like, it will take now some time.
Exactly.
Let alone now the post-COVID
Yeah.
economic crisis.
Yeah.
We're going to like have two of them. So
Yeah.
you can imagine like maybe uno mwana kichwa.
Yeah.
And now one's kumwana meno. Now your
Yeah.
body is like, I can't.
Your body
always-
breaks down.
Yes.
Now, let me go back to the Treasury, where Okuretan is set to announce the budget statement. Inakuwa budget, msitisho na majina ngumu. Budget itasomwa
But it's also more.
on April 7th. Those are close to 2 months before the normal time. Again, because before the election, a few disruptions will happen. And the highlight of the last budget was the fact that agriculture was given 60 million. Or 60 billion, sorry. 60 billion. We've also seen post-COVID stimulus packages. Stimulus packages is where, for example, we know rice farmers are facing this problem in maybe accessing the market. And now part of the debt that is taken is to caution them against maybe the high prices of fertilizer. So now what the government did was come up with stimulus packages. They came up with 3 stimulus packages, where, for example, the last one, they assigned up to 1.5 billion to rice farmers in, for example, rice growing areas, of course, to help them quote unquote cushioned. Cushioned inakuwa tu, okay, in short, in simple term, inakuwaga kusaidia farmers wasikuwa affected sana na nini za COVID.
The impact.
Effects. Yeah, exactly.
Like it covers some shield.
Yeah.
If it's
like
coming before you figure, at least itakuwa email.
It's like a shield. Exactly.
Yes.
And now we're in that year where 60 million plus now the 60 billion, sorry, that was allocated to
The
agriculture sector in the last budget. Now, plus those, stimulus packages, cumulatively, the question is that, is there going to be more? At a time where there's all that. Farm inputs prices are very high.
And at a time whereby maybe this crisis, yes, they are recovering, yes, and everything, but at a time where maybe it might or might not get to us.
Yeah.
It might get to us, or it might actually.
Can I interest you? It's already here.
It's not at worst, yes.
It's already here. Let me tell you why. The cost of bread,
it's 55 bob.
Is spiked to go 67 bob in just a few weeks to come. Because it's like COVID. I won't lie to you. It's like COVID. Without COVID is in China, but then kabla ijafika hapa tutakuwa tumepangaiza kidogo. Exactly. And remember, COVID-19 was called COVID-19 because it happened in 2019 December in China. That's when it broke. And then in Kenya, March
2020.
It was there.
Yeah.
Just 3 months.
Like 3 months away, yes.
3 months away. And that's a pandemic, which means there need to be contact. You know? But then when it comes to economy, it's always direct. And this is how.
There's no like escape, or there's no something that is going to shield it.
Yeah, at least lazima kukuwe na contact. This is how it is. Kenya imports so much wheat from Ukraine and Russia. And once we talk about Kenya importing, I want to break it down to millers and manufacturers of different wheat products. So what they do, of course, they have a stock that they have bought for some time, for some period of time. But then remember, but even if
is this period of time where the wheat is not being produced,
exactly.
But if the stock is there, there's this a specific gap that the wheat has not been produced.
Exactly.
So it's like wanarudisha nyuma.
Yeah. So and what they're gonna do, they know that right now the supply chain has been disrupted. So they have to manage what they have. The supply is still the same. The demand is still the same.
But the
supply is what they have to fine tune a little bit. But remember, if the demand is still there and supply is still there, what they run is a volume business. How many loaves of bread you're going to make, you're going to sell, the higher the profit margin. You know. Now, the demand is constant. The supply has been suffocated.
But the demand is going to lessen, I think, with some time.
The demand for wheat products, it's always been constant. It's always gonna be constant.
I think it can reduce with some, like, even if it's like at 0.5%, it will. Because imagine, maybe say in a family they used to buy 2 breads.
I get your argument now. I get your argument. For me, I'm actually here where the situation is right now. Not the after effect.
Now the
right
effects
now.
Right now.
So they know the supply has been disrupted, and now what they have to do.
The demand is still constant.
The demand is still constant.
I get it.
Wow. So they have to manage the stock. The supply is not going to be better anytime soon. And
rather than there's no supply at all.
There's no supply even at all.
Maybe they're just acquiring wheat from around.
Exactly. And well, it's really interesting that that's where the price of bread is going to rise. It doesn't happen one time because again there's a stock behind to help you run for a few weeks, months. But then in just close to 2-3 months, you'll feel the pinch. And bread will be one of those things that are no longer an option in the local household every morning.
It actually is not an option, but now. In a family where you used to like fancily take 3 loaves of, like, you just buy 3.
Exactly.
Because it's 150.
Exactly.
You take 2.
Exactly.
So I'm going to buy like 3 loaves of bread at maybe probably 70 bob each. That's way too much. So I'm going to lessen what you're eating. I'll buy 2, not 3.
Exactly. Before we can take a short commercial break, do you also remember there are memes all over talking about vegetable oil, cooking oil?
Yes.
So you can only pity somebody who's cooking chapas right now. In just a few months. You can feel the pinch.
Yeah, you can feel
and exactly
the pinch.
that's where the Ministry of Agriculture has invited people to give feedback. Farmers, most definitely, farmers have been given the opportunity to share some of the problems. On 17th March, which was on, I think last Friday, the Ministry of Agriculture tweeted actually. Tweeted because I was looking at other platforms, it didn't say anything, on website it didn't say anything, but this one was exclusive to tweet. But they said, we're working to address the challenges of farmers during these tough periods. We request and encourage our Kenyan farmers to present their views, challenges, and positive development in agriculture, of agriculture in our country. And then followed by a thread that says, as a farmer, what are some of the items that you would like to be addressed? Exactly. Now that sets the basis of today's conversation. As a farmer, what are some of the challenges you're facing? As again, the Ministry of Agriculture
like right now. Not like not next week,
no,
not in the next few months. Because you don't know what's going to happen next week.
Exactly.
You don't know the price of cooking oil, where it will be at. Like currently, what are some of the challenges that you as a farmer are facing? You can reach out to our comment section on our Facebook page at AFarmers Media. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at AFarmers. And we're also live on YouTube. You can also see your comments, all those social media platforms.
And of course, last such, right now we're facing a very huge problem in our farms. There's so much heat, there's so much sun, which means there's also less water coming into our farms. So we need our crops to retain water.
Tomorrow being the International Water Day.
Tomorrow being an International Water Day. Wow, that's interesting. So it's right now crops are drying out.
Yeah.
I was looking at
you don't have even an option. Like, just have to sit and look at them, because you are at a dead end. You know, there's no rain. You can't bring rain by yourself. And the supply of water is lessening each and every single day.
And so of course crops are drying up. And water retention methods are one of the best ways to apply
to use currently, being the planting season.
Being the planting season,
or it's here already.
It's already here. And it's quite interesting what Omnia has provided, something called the reservator. A reservator,
it's a water retention.
It helps in water retention and also absorption of nutrients from the crops, from the soil
to the crops.
To the crops. And of course ensure that your crops do not lose nutrients in case of something called leaching, losing nutrients to the soil. So basically Omnia has brought this product into the market called the reservator. It helps in water retention at a time where we are facing very direct sun.
It's
very
sun.
Exactly.
I saw somewhere it's like everyone manifested they want to go to the coast, and they were like, now since everyone wants to go to the coast, let me just put the coast came to everyone around everyone, like totally everyone. And it's a point whereby, for example, in the western region of Kenya, rain is not a problem. Like they're always mvua imefika. It has never been a problem. But if you actually hear people complain that there's no rain in those areas, then it's a serious situation. It's
serious. It's very, very, very serious. Of course, you can now go get your reservator to the closest agrovet shop. You can also visit their accounts, social media accounts.
You can actually visit their website.
Exactly.
And see a variety or a wide range of other products that they actually have. Maybe you might not be needing the reservator, but they are other products.
To cure stress, very many things. They have different products for different conditions.
That's my favorite one.
Exactly. So of course, you can also visit their social media accounts on Omnia East Africa. You can go have a conversation, tell them what you're facing. They have a solution right there for you. Of course, we do take a short commercial break. We'll be back with the topic and the views that we've gathered from different farmers, and you as a farmer.
And me as a farmer.
Of course, we take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more.
Celery is a marshland plant that comes from the same family as carrots and parsley. It has long, firm and pale green fibrous stalks and grows in bunches of approximately 8 to 10 centimeters. The stalks taper into leaves at the top. When planting celery, it's best to ensure that the soil is enriched with compost and with a soil pH of between 5.8 to 6.8. It is also important for celery to grow in moisture-retentive soil. Lastly but not the least, select a site that receives full and direct sunlight. Celery needs about 130 to 140 days to mature between seedling and harvest. Growing celery is generally considered to be an ultimate vegetable gardening challenge. It's easy to grow, but has very specific needs.
Mahindi yamekuwa chakula kikuu katika sehemu nyingi za ulimwengu na jumla ya uzalishaji wa mahindi kuliko ile ya ngano au mchele. Mbali na kuwa mahindi ni chakula, pia hutumiwa kutengeneza ethanoli, chakula cha wanyama na bidhaa zingine. Kunayo mahindi ya gume, mahindi ya ganda, yani popcorn, mahindi ya unga na mahindi matamu. Mahindi yanalimwa sana kote ulimwenguni na kiwango kikubwa cha mahindi hutolewa kila mwaka kuliko nafaka nyingine yoyote. Shamba la mahindi linaweza kutayarishwa kwa kutumia njia za kawaida au za kilimo cha uhifadhi. Kilimo cha kuhifadhi ni pamoja na kunyunyizia dawa za kuulia wadudu zilizopendekezwa na wataalamu wa kilimo. Unaweza kutumia trekta au njia ya mikono kufanya kilimo cha mahindi. Ni muhimu kuandaa ardhi mapema ya kutosha kuruhusu magugu kukauka na kuoza kabla ya kupanda.
A very good evening, dear listener, dear viewer. Welcome to the Farm Drive Show. Of course, the second half of this show here at AFarmers Media with me, Brian Monda.
And me, Masike Munto.
Did you notice the difference between afternoon and evening?
Yes.
Afternoon
is from 12.
From 12
to 3.
Okay.
Then from 4 is evening.
All right. Well, you're a very sharp person, though.
Yeah.
Of course, well, in the first half, we were talking about the situation, the news as it is, different things, and why things are the way they are right now, economically and everything. Of course, we did introduce the topic where farmers are being asked by the Ministry of Agriculture to give the different feedback. And of course,
the question was, as a farmer, what are some of the challenges that you're facing?
I actually think Madam Director is going to pull that on for us, where the Ministry of Agriculture did tweet on 17th of March and ask Kenyans and farmers specifically to share some of the problems, immediate problems that they're facing, and they're going to look into how they're going to solve some of these problems.
And some of the items that they would want the Ministry of Education to look at.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Or to be addressed.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, yeah. So, well, actually, before I did take a short commercial break, actually during the break, I saw a very funny, well, not very funny, but very interesting, report. Well, because before we can get into the topic, we're talking about Uganda. And the funny thing is that Ugandans are happier than Kenyans.
Happy?
Yeah. Ugandans are happier than Kenyans, according to the World Happiness Report states.
I think, was it Sunday was the World Happiness Day? Yesterday. Yesterday.
Yeah, I think that was yesterday. I think it should be yesterday.
Yeah, the World Happiness Day.
Of course, now the report says that Ugandans are happier than Kenya.
That can be true.
Kenya was ranked 26th dullest. Okay, unhappy.
I think I'll be moving to Uganda.
But then
I've been wondering why my mood is like this. Because I think I'm more jovial and happier right now. I think I'll be relocating to Uganda.
how about Rwanda?
How
about Rwanda? Do you think about Rwanda?
Actually, not Uganda. Rwanda.
Rwanda is that country, right?
Yeah, Rwanda is that country.
Very beautiful.
Beautiful. I had a friend of my mom's, like the way she used to tell us stories about Rwanda, then I was like, can you please take me there?
Yeah.
Is it possible for me to go? Yeah, and actually it's around 30 hours from here using a bus.
Yeah.
It's 30. Yeah, around 35 hours.
Can I interest you?
To Rwanda.
Can I interest you? Maybe you're going to change your perception. Rwanda was ranked. Rwanda was ranked
Don't change my mind.
the unhappiest country in 6 nations in East African Community Bloc, and the 4th worst globally, ahead of Zimbabwe, Lebanon, and Afghanistan.
That's still not changing.
Happiest.
I'm not still changing.
Whatever you do with this information.
If I was to be a man, then I'd probably marry from Rwanda. This country has pretty girls. So I don't know why they're not happy and this.
So, ladies and gentlemen, right there is your co-host, man more so. You've been advised, of course, by Mercy.
Yeah.
To tell us that, hey, why you guys don't think about Rwanda? But you give me a thought. Anyway,
they should give us a thought. Let's leave it at that. We're going to revisit some other day. Yeah.
So now. Now, this is what the Ministry of Agriculture did tell Kenyans, shared the feedback. And first, I would love us to sample some of the feedback that they did receive before we can dive into what now locally we have heard from farmers. Now, there's some that, sorry, I'm not going to answer much because they're accusations.
I have one here.
Yeah.
I think the government need to subsidize agricultural inputs.
Yes.
And try to revive or introduce agroforestry in many parts of Kenya, which are semi-arid.
Yes.
Plus create efficient markets for both.
Well, somebody did give a little bit of a feedback here. It's more of a feedback that we're just going to read, but we cannot verify 100%. Somebody says, Anajita, that question on Twitter. They says that Anzenina Agri Finance Kenya, they are marginalizing cost of farmers from accessing loans by asking for title deeds, despite the glaring reality. Loan disbursement should be based on ability to pay, not the thing that he said there. Also, there was this feedback and comment, how can the government encourage more youth to engage in agriculture? Well, they need title deeds for financial assistance. How many youths own land? It's quite an issue that we've always thought about also. For maize farmers, please diversify seeds to include corn for edible oil production. Carol, please help us on this to restore maize production zone, which are currently going to sugarcane growing. Well, I would love to think this is part of Western, more of Western. drought-resistant crops, and support to livestock and crop insurance. Well, insurance is something that people have always thought about, and it's really interesting that insuring 1 acre of I think that is watermelons is 6,000 shillings.
1 acre.
Yeah, something around price range 6,000, something around there. So insurance is something that will say it's a rising trend in agriculture, because remember, agribusiness and agriculture is very high risk. So
it's a high risk. That's I think the financial providers or the financial assistants, they're like, they take some time before lending money out to farmers.
Exactly.
But either way, it's not like there's a comment that you've read there that says asking for title deeds for you to acquire the land.
Yeah.
I think you should then look at your capability to pay it, because I want to venture into farming, right? But I don't own a title deed at my age right now. I don't have a farm anywhere, and I want some capital to start the money, but not to start the business, agribusiness. But now they're asking for a title deed. Where am I going to get it?
Now let me tell you, Mercy. Well, let's go through a few comments, and then I'll give you the perspective of the commercial bank. Of course, there was somebody here who's called Baringo Agriculture. Says that subsidized inputs cost will go a long way, plus invest in capacity building to those farmers and make farming a profession.
I think most of the comments here, like, let's say 60% of it, they're probably talking about the price of farm inputs.
Yes.
Like everyone, like, can you address the cost of fertilizer, especially this planting season? And we have another comment from Omboya saying that please regulate the price of fertilizer downwards to enable farmers to go back to their fields this season. This means that most of them are not going back because of the prices of fertilizers.
And there's someone that had been said that you remember, food security is a key pillar of the Big Four agenda by the national government. It's really interesting. Okay, somebody here did repeat a little bit, but then emphasized a little bit more also on the same. They said that subsidized inputs such as seeds and fertilizers, of course, also seeds is something we also need to talk about. Seeds, of course. Make agriculture credit available and affordable. Procure and make accessible farm machinery and improve agri infrastructure. Of course, address the poor agricultural produce market. Stop dependence on the rain-fed agriculture. Of course, these are some of the comments that were able to be elicited from the simple.
The comment. We have one last one here. Saying that drought-resistant crops and support to livestock and crop insurance. That's, I think, another issue. Just don't offer seeds to farmers. Like, okay, what do you want? Maize seeds. Okay, here is the maize seeds. Just find out the climate of this area first. That's like the most important. We have drought resistant crops, or we have drought resistant seeds. There's some seeds you can just plant right now and they actually grow. Let's say maize seeds. And there's some seeds you're going to plant in the same area, but they will not grow.
And of course, these are some of the comments that came out of the simple tweet, the feedback that they were asking for. Remember, the Agriculture Ministry is followed by 14,000 Kenyans. I'm trying to ask, the rest. How can they be part of this feedback? Because somebody here actually did try to say, stop pretending you don't know the problems of farmers are facing in the country. You have declined to carry out subsidy programs in Trans Nzoia so that you can promote interests of foreign maize, whatever. These are feedbacks from different people. But let's break down. Let's start with the issue of land. And as I always say, it's something that as we grow, we'll always learn. If you're going to ask something from somebody, it's always good to know the situation first, and then put yourself in their shoes, and then see what you can do about it, and then ask for it. So that in case they ask you how, you can provide the how. Part of the land issue is it's not so good, because it's not. I even don't want to talk about even young people alone. even ladies, women. Land ownership is quite an issue.
That's one big issue. Like
one big issue.
Yeah.
And remember, if land ownership was equitable, and if land, actually it's equal, not equitable, but actually let's call it equitable, now that ladies can have even more land, because really interesting, one of the largest, I wish I had facts for this, but I'm sure it's online, I'm going to look for that. In agriculture, it's one of the largest employers. Actually, it's the largest employer in the informal sector. And really interesting what? Women lead in people who are involved in agriculture.
That can be true.
Yeah.
It can be like, even the fact that they don't have, there's this research that was conducted by the UN, the AO.
Yeah.
By the, I'm going to find out that word, but he said that if by any chance globally, women were to be given the same land, not just land.
Yes.
Land.
Yes.
With what men have, then the percentage of drought will decrease by 30%.
You can imagine.
So you can imagine the impact. This is just providing land. We're not talking about resources and anything. Just land. Just give them land. That's it. Then the drought percentage is going to decrease by 30%.
Yeah. So you can imagine, when it comes to the issue of land, the reason also why commercial banks don't offer loans to people without land, it's basic security.
Yeah. What are you?
Yeah.
What are you giving?
What are we holding?
What am I holding back?
And one interesting thing of how banks think is that they give you money knowing that you might not pay.
So they
always know
need
that.
to get the money back either way.
Exactly. And it's something that maybe you'll use one day. The fact that even in your friends, within your friends, the person who asks you for money, do not give that than you're willing to lose. Don't give more than
what you're willing to lose. Like,
exactly.
Give the amount that if you're going to lose, then there's no impact.
Exactly.
There's no blow.
Exactly.
It's not going, you're not to get like, what?
Yeah.
These were my savings. I needed to start my business in the next 2 months.
Exactly.
The money is not yet. Just give.
Exactly.
Something that's not going to affect you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's something that I learned so bad, because there was a time that I gave out something close to 100,000 to somebody to start a business, and they promised to give back. But it was in agriculture. Later they called me to tell me that you know what, sahi kuna jua kubwa sana. It was just recently, not very many months ago, just a few months ago. Anambia, unaona penye jua iko, situation iko. I'm trying to think you're a commercial bank. And that's your business, to make money.
You have to make money. No losses.
You have to make money.
No losses.
Exactly. So I'm here trying to think that for commercial banks, as I said, commercial banks are here to make money out of interest. But then for land, it's always a security that in case you can be auctioned, well, there's still recovery. It's not the best option, but then
there's still recovery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, where money comes in, startup capital comes in, and remember, banks do assess a business idea before they can finance it. And they always assess it on the basis of repayment, which is affected by risk, the risk factor. Are you going to pay it back? For example, in the climatic changes right now we're experiencing
constant effects.
Yeah.
You're not sure if they will be there or they will not be there.
Exactly.
So you're prepared.
Yeah.
If they are there,
yeah.
So what's the solution?
Yeah.
Because climate, that's something that's not something that's within our powers.
Yes. And it's really interesting how banks see it. That kama utaweza kulipa, well,
where we're going to get.
And that explains why many youths do not get loans, because
they don't have land.
Yeah.
And you're not going to tell me that you go to a bank, walk into a bank and say like, I need a loan of 50,000, not just a lot of money. I need a loan of 50,000. I need to start planting onions.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, where are we going to plant this onion?
Yeah.
I'm going to lease out of this 50,000, I'm going to lease a farm for maybe probably 15,000.
Yeah.
And this 35,000 is what I'm going to invest with everything. Which is like a rough estimate.
Yeah.
It might not be how that works.
Yeah.
But you're just trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And you tell this bank that I'm going to plant these onions. Then after 4 months, my onions will be ready. I'll take them to the market. Then I'll pay you back your money.
Exactly.
They won't offer you the money.
What happens is, and I think it's a high time we also understand what institution stands for what. A bank is always there to give you money, but they are there to make money. They might have CSR activities, well, to paint a good PR, picture, but then their role is not to do community, to do charity job, to build communities. Their role is to make money.
Yeah, that's the main aim.
That's the main aim.
So you can't say that like the main or something. That's what they do.
Exactly, that's what they do.
Like there's no way out.
Exactly.
I'm giving you money, but you have to return this money in a specific period of time.
Exactly.
That's according to what I've planned.
Yeah.
So in the next, if I'm going to give you 50,000, you're going to be paying 5,000 every month. So in the next 10 months, you should be done.
Exactly.
So in the next 10 months, this 50,000 should be given to someone else.
Exactly.
So that's why it's very hard for you to be given loans. They don't have a security.
Exactly.
They don't have something to. They're going to give this bank. Like they're not giving the bank a reason to trust them.
Yeah.
And a reason should be something tangible.
Yeah.
And it's not there.
It's very unfair. That's how things are.
That's how things are.
Yeah.
But maybe we have microfinance, maybe circles that provide loans for
even circles.
Even circles.
They're there for the money.
They favor maybe the youth and the women mostly.
Now, once you bring the gender diversity issue, the buck stops, but the ability to pay.
Yeah.
As I told you.
Yeah, the ability
women
to
pay better than men. Well, somehow.
No, don't say somehow. That's true. Just come in terms with it. Like women pay their debts.
Exactly. Women pay their debts.
Such they do pay.
There's a movie called Game of Thrones, and there was this tag where Lannisters pay their debts. Now, women too do pay their debts, and the fact that banks go for women, it's not for women empowerment. Don't get it twisted.
It's because they know they will get the money
because they know they will get their money back.
I can little scare.
Yeah.
I'll pay it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, like they have, with women, it would tell me, if I go and sit down with my mom and my dad and ask them, Mom, how many chamas are you in?
Yeah.
And Dad, how many chamas are you in?
Yeah.
You find this man is not even in any.
Unamuuliza ati how many chamas are you, atakuangalia hivi tu atashangaa.
Chama. Vitu za mama zenye mako anafanya hapana.
And of course,
that's how it is.
The second culture,
mom, you'd be like, I'm in a church chama, uko shago niko chama, somewhere niko chama,
kazini yako kwa chama,
you watu wa kwenda wapi wako chama,
the
specific people of specific language, like they have a reason to have chama.
Exactly.
Kuna chamas juu ya vyombo, kuna chama, like they have variety of chamas.
Yeah. Look at it that way now.
They know where to get their money.
Look at it that way.
And these chamas actually they provide money.
Yeah.
They give you money.
Yeah, they give you money.
If you have your chama, you have borrowed a loan here. You are like, at least I can get, if worse gets to worse, then at least kuna chama tatu hapa na expect ndapata hizi pesa.
Yeah.
And women don't borrow money if they don't know where they're going to get it from. Leave alone from the business. They're like, okay, easy person in case sitapata. In case by this time my business haitokuwa raise the amount of money that they want. At least I have these two chamas and I have a saving in that other bank. At least neza lipa wasi auction vitu zangu. That's what women fear.
Yeah.
Like, don't take my things and the shame and standing for the family.
That's now you can feel that. Now you can feel that. Yeah. Now, circles don't do the same. Circles are not there for community growth.
They're for the ability to pay.
Exactly.
Who is capable of paying.
Exactly. Circles might look as if, and also commercial banks might look as if they're empowering ladies.
Women empowerment.
Unless it's a foundation. Unless it's a foundation. Unless it's a CSR activity. But where there is commercial loan with an interest, it's not about empowering people. It's giving you the money. It's
business.
But then empowering is always a ripple effect. Or it's a direct effect. The fact that either way, ukipata biashara, the more business owners, you're going to create more employment and stuff. That's why you see commercial banks saying that we've been able to give these
particular number of
many more, exactly. Many more women. Now there are more business owners, and business owners create more employment. Blah 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 blah. All that stuff. Exactly. That's why it's also the role of the national government to create a conducive environment for commercial banks to exist,
and to get the money too.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, the government looks at this as an effect, as a ripple or direct effect.
Because they're reducing the unemployment rates.
Because
at the end of the day, like the increase of unemployment rates, who do we blame?
Unemployment, there's so much you can say.
But like this,
at the end of the day, it goes back to the government.
That
it goes back to the government.
And you ask someone, "By the way, hakuna job huku nje, shida ni?"
Do you know, quite interesting, at some point maybe I would love you to look at this. Do you know that more of the presidential candidates, once they giving out their manifestos, they do promise jobs.
Actually, the first.
Do you know what they do?
Days,
some of them what they do, and most of this government is create a conducive environment for creation of business as part of one strategy. Even if they're going to create direct employment on, for example, kazi mtaani and all that,
we have this
indirect one. It's creating a good, conducive environment for investors, not even commercial banks alone. Investors everywhere, business will happen. That means, if we have a post-election violence right now, economic turbulence is going to be one of the biggest problems. And this means maybe the business community is disrupted. And once a company shuts down, people go back home.
Yeah, there's more
unemployment. Things. That's what the government is always there holding. Trying to hold. And now we're talking, always note what to ask from who. For commercial bank, you're not going to tell them to give you money and you don't have land, or you don't have security, because they're also a business. For government, it's always service delivery. For private sector, which is commercial banks and corporate sector, it's always profit driven. For government, it's service delivery. So the government takes care of maybe an employment, starting of businesses, quite a few things here and there.
Accepting investors even from outside the country.
Exactly. Now, what you can ask the government to do for you. First, policies. There's direct and indirect representation. Now, this one, for example, is direct conversation. It's public participation, where people just come and openly give their own
my view on this and this.
Exactly. And now, once the government does that, there's now the indirect one, where you use your member of parliament. Now, remember, the role of member of parliament
is to hear the cries of my people.
Then come
and take it to
table it to the National Assembly. When they table it to the National Assembly, that's where you hear now they're beginning about the cost of living. You hear? So now you can ask to people to be part of this conversation on the cost of living. For example, such a direct platform that gives you that, or the member of parliament who is responsible for making policies at the national level. So the government should, where it now comes in, is now gava itakupatia doka youth grant ama loan bila interest rates.
Just pay whatever amount you ask
exactly
for.
Exactly. And it's part of service delivery that you give grants. I've seen government give grants. I've also seen them through of course the national, there's a Uwezo fund. Quite a few funds that have been given out to different empowerment groups. Well, now that's the role of government. You see, the bank doesn't give people living with disabilities loans just like that. But the national government can do that because it's service delivery. So now, once you want to ask from the Ministry of Agriculture, ask for a grant, ask for a zero-rated loan, They won't ask you about much about the land issue. As long as you have land. I remember applying for the grant, for a grant that the government was giving through the World Bank. What they did, they didn't ask about the land.
They asked,
can you access land? I told them, again, they didn't want to know if I own land.
They just wanted if you can just gain access to land.
Exactly. So they are always interested in that. So don't ask the commercial bank to give you a loan without the security.
Yeah, because they will ask you.
They'll ask
what
for that.
Do you have for us tangible?
Yeah,
to trust
exactly.
You?
So that's one of the feedback that I thought people should know. And you know, these people are always happy once you ask for the wrong thing, because they know. But it's like an interview. You know, you're invited for an interview somewhere. And somebody asks you, anakupapasa ama anakuuliza maswali wrong, and you're a politician. You know, as long as hajakuguza wewe mwenyewe ndani
person. So you just like
utaenda nyumbani as a very happy person.
Bora tu hajakuingilia.
Yeah,
just this
exactly.
Questions go put
exactly.
As jengia bado tu.
Always asking the right questions is very important. Once you talk about the feeds, feeds is something that's really high. I won't lie to you. I was talking to one of the chicken farmers. They're not doing so good.
Actually, I saw a tweet, I think it's today morning, about a student, a youth, who decided to do some poultry farming and got money. Not just the money was just from, I don't know. I don't know if it was the saving or help, but there's some money. Just maneuvers his way out and got some money and set up a poultry.
Yeah.
But now, in less than 2 weeks, like 12 of his chicken was stolen. In the other 2 weeks, there was like a disease in the village. They were all swept away. You see, there's no motivation to do it again.
Yeah, true. Now, once you talk about such issues, this is where the county government comes in. This is where the national government comes in. County government is responsible for helping. You know, county government is like your fingers. It's like uliongezwa mikono ili uweze kufikia ground kabisa.
So your hand is long.
Exactly.
So it's just like the county government is like helping you reach to that point. You're here but you can't reach, so you need to stretch. You're trying to stretch, you can't. But now it comes in to help you reach that point.
Exactly. Now the county government came in as an extension organ of the national government. They were delegated duties. Now one of the duties ni kusolve zile shida za hapa chini tu. For example, if you're having issues with the pest and diseases, like that outbreak, is the role of the county government to come through, provide a solution. National government would reach us first. So they have extension officers who are going to diagnose and find a solution to that. But when it comes to, for example, security, the national government through its own local structures, for example, chief, people like that.
Assistant chief, this
exactly.
Ground.
Security, that comes in there. So now, if there's an outbreak of insecurity, as you can now talk to the local representatives of the national government, that's chief, assistant chief, can talk to county commissioner and people like that. Now, feeds. Feeds is a national issue. The county government does not have money to subsidize feeds.
To the farmers?
To the farmers.
That's this cut across whatever you are rearing.
Exactly.
You're doing.
Exactly.
Pigs, anything, cows, chickens, poultry, turkeys, and all those other varieties of animals.
Absolutely. And now, we need to understand that in for example, creation of feeds, there are things that always remain constant. Yeah, vitu kama maize jam. Now maize, exactly. You eat a cut karibu, it's gonna cut across. There is a few ingredients hapa pale, wheat bran, vitu kama hizo, because there are sources of different things, carbohydrates, proteins, and close to every animal needs that. The cost of feeds is very high.
And now you come back. Okay, these other feeds they cut across. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you minimize again, go back low. Let's say, for example, for chickens.
Yeah.
You can't give a pig layers mash.
Exactly, you cannot.
And the prices are just getting high.
Yeah.
This is what you're depending on.
Yeah.
Like your chicken, neither they have to lay eggs because you need to get your money back. But now the price of feeds, you're like, why these kukus chakula nyiko tu? You see, that's.
Yeah, exactly. Can I interest you? It's creating a direct effect. Because because the cost of mayai in the last 2 months has shot.
I don't know if our way back home, there's a shop.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed.
Uh-huh.
At first, we passed there. A crate of eggs was 330.
Yeah.
It moved to 360.
Yeah.
Moved to 380. And now a crate of eggs is 400 Kenyan shillings.
400 Kenyan shillings.
That's one crate.
Just imagine. Just one.
And there's a time a crate used to go for 280.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah.
And they're good eggs. Not said in my a crate, like a good crate of eggs used to go 280. Now you can imagine a crate of eggs goes for 400. So it means the damage or the effect comes from the price of
exactly. Now that's a direct effect. You see?
Same to fertilizer, I think.
Same thing to fertilizer.
Because if the fertilizer prices are high, trust me, this season, whatever they are planting, they're going to sell it at a very high price come the end of the season.
Exactly. Can I interest you? We were in Meru some time back, and there are ladies who are telling us they're farmers, and mind you, they sell the produce in the market directly. They're the ones selling, retailing.
From farm.
Yeah, from farm.
Personally, I harvest my crops.
Yeah.
And I market. I am
this woman. You know what they said? This coming season, this season, planting season, they're not going to use fertilizer.
So you can imagine.
You know what that means?
The quality.
Exactly.
Of whatever is going,
exactly.
Quality, quantity is affected.
Exactly.
Because if there's no fertilizer, which means if it's your maize, the cobs are going to be really small.
Yeah. And
they're not going to be. If they're small, then there's no much maize.
Yeah.
Per plant.
Yeah.
This means they're going to lessen the.
Exactly.
So we're just starting.
We're just starting. It's just starting.
It's just the start of it.
It's just the start. Fertilizer prices are high, close to twice as high, at times even thrice. And that means that
fertilizers currently goes for 7,000.
Close to 7,000.
Yes.
And that bite has never come out of my head. We're not going to use fertilizer.
Yeah, you're not.
You can imagine
most are not.
And that effect comes even into the, as we talked about the quality, micronutrients, none. Long-term effect. Well, of course, the crop has to survive, so it has to take up a few micronutrients and nutrients from the soil, so which means the soil is not going to receive back its micronutrients. So even the next
prices remain constant,
exactly.
If they're not going to go lower, which means the next season, then the produce is going to get worse.
It's going to get worse
because the plant actually used all of its nutrients from the soil.
Exactly.
Which means there's no nutrients left in the soil for the crops that are going to be planted coming the next season.
Exactly. So you can now see that ripple effect.
You see, these are some of the challenges that actually farmers are facing.
Now that's a very serious
one. They're not been looked deep into it.
Yeah.
They're just by the way, fertilizer imepanda, but you don't know ground how actually bad it is.
Yeah.
When you talk about fertilizer, people will be like, you just buy fertilizer and use less of it. It's not even the amount. It's what you're going to get, because this is something you're investing in. Maybe this is your full-time job. There's some people farming is their full-time job. Nipalilia mimea zangu, I plant everything, harvest to the market, sell. Now that's my job. That's my earning.
Yes.
Some people that's a full-time job.
Yes.
And basically this happens for probably small-scale farmers.
Yes.
And imagine if I'm not going to get good yields.
Yes.
That are market acceptable.
Yes.
You just don't take anything to the market.
Yeah.
So it means this is another loss. Nilinunua mbegu.
Yes.
I have planted. Then this means I don't have something to take it to the market.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? The larger effect is that there will be more food insecurity, and there will be food wastage.
There will be food wastage and food, because it's either there's no something produced at all.
Yeah.
Or whatever that has been produced with good yields is not enough.
Yes.
Or the prices are very high, you can't buy.
Yes.
Or either way you've produced, maybe you planted 10 acres of land with maybe say maize.
Yes.
But now whatever you produced, it cannot even sell to the market. What do? You can't stay with maize here.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just throw it away.
Yes. So you can imagine now the direct effect it has, of course. I was looking for a story here where there was an MP that actually here it goes. Just a a few minutes. I think it's going to take some time to open up. But
taking on fertilizer prices, for example,
you
go back, like for a planting season, it's not just about fertilizer.
Yes.
We have seeds, we have fertilizers, crops. The fact that you're planting crops doesn't mean that they are resistant to pesticides. You have to deal with pesticides.
Yes.
And here comes another problem.
Yeah.
You have to apply pesticides to your farm.
Yes.
That's there's no escape. If your crops have been infested with pesticides, you have to come up with a solution. Exactly.
Now, one of the daily blogs said that this is a story of 20th March. That was yesterday, actually. Yeah. So, farmers, now first there's an MP called Mishra. So, Mishra is an MP from Keses. Keses, do you know where Keses is? I don't know.
I don't know what that is. I wanted to say Kajiado. It's Kajiado-ish, but I was like, no. Yeah.
Yes, so, now Keses is, in just a minute, now Keses is a constituency in Kenya, one of 6 constituencies in Uasin Gishu County. Now, the MP there is called Mishra. So, he's called Dr. Swarup. I think it's Swarup, not Swarup. Swarup Mishra distributed free fertilizer and seeds to more than 2,000 farmers to enable them plant
this season.
Of course, now farmers say fertilizer prices are unaffordable and demand subsidies as planting seasons begin. Of course, this will have to. They said they will have to abandon and cut down production. I don't know. I don't want to make this political, but then I don't know what we should do with such a leader, because that's touching the direct hearts of a farmer. Giving 2,000
seeds. No, giving seeds and fertilizer to 2,000 farmers.
2,000 farmers.
That's not just like a small number. That's quite a good number.
Exactly. And why don't other members of parliament follow suit?
But
what's it so hard?
But I have campaigns to do.
What's just tell me, what's better campaign to do
than touching the heart of
the heights
voter?
Of, yeah, exactly. What's better?
Nothing.
You know,
if you can't, trust me, if you can't touch, and I'm sorry to say this, but you find someone and have a voter's card.
Yeah.
But you're like, I'm going to vote this person back to parliament. I'm going to vote this person back to this seat.
Yes.
But for the past 5 years, what has he done to benefit me? What? Apart from the words that you gave me 5 years ago, A, B, C, D, I'm going to do A, and do B, and do C, and D, and E, and F, such kind of thing.
And just like businesses were restructured and repurposed, we can always repurpose some of the development.
Love, the thing is, these people are actually in a very, very good position. You'll rather not go and do that campaign.
Yes.
Sit at home. Find out a way of getting fertilizers for, let's start with the small number, 500 farmers in your area.
Yes.
And you take this to them. Don't even campaign. Take this to them to a specific market.
Yeah.
Say, so you, as farmers of this Kijiji, I know the fertilizer prices are high, and I've researched and done ABCD.
Yes.
These seeds are actually going to do well in this area.
You're talking about researched, and right now is when it hits me that today morning I was listening to different conversations, and it's not even today alone, and it's very painful to even think about it, that MPs and leaders, not even MPs alone, leaders seeking elective positions this coming election, sit comfortably and tell us, we have reviewed our intelligence, and we are told that we are ahead in terms of numbers, but then they're the same people who come to ask you, shida zenu ni gani? Why don't you use the same intelligence to know the problem that we have?
Because you've reviewed, you know numbers.
Yeah.
Use the same way you've done because if you can actually get to know the numbers, you can actually get to know the problems. Problems are actually screaming. You don't even have to.
You don't need to be told.
You're not even struggling. The problems that people are facing, maybe in your constituency, in your area, they are already screaming. If you're in an area where like planting is done, it's a planting season, farmers are complaining each and every single day.
Exactly.
Fertilizers, no. This, no. The prices are no. So I'm not going to use. You as a leader, what can you actually do? And this actually goes out to all the leaders. If you are actually in a position to help, because you are already, you are in a very good position to help. And we're just saying right now, for a single campaign, for an MP, we're not even going to farmers, to, governors or the president, no. For a single campaign, for you being an MP, you spend almost 1.2 M. That's, just take half of that, not even half, like we'll take 3/4 of it. And say, I'm not going to campaign today. Let me just buy this and take it to the market and take it to these farmers. Trust me, that is like 10 times more better campaign than you moving around with cars and telling me, vote for me in the first 200 days, I'll return the normal prices to normal. It's not adding up if you're not helping.
I'm here asking myself this question, Mercy. Where is it that leaders reach a point and they tell us that, wanakuja kanisani na pesa mingi sana. You want to fundraise. Yet, you can use your intelligence to tell us to know the problem that you're facing and bring solutions. Offer solutions. This planting season.
Offer the pollution. Like, if it's possible, leaders should actually offer solutions right now.
Actually, this planting season, if your MP doesn't give you a solution to
whatever problem that you have in your farm.
Exactly.
Think.
They think twice. And yesterday, it did pain me to see, there's a feature that exactly the one I told you about, the hired crowds in political rallies. And it pained me to hear that people say that politicians will always make sure that you're poor so that next time you'll still be there.
So you don't move. Don't think.
You still be there for them. They hire you, you sell your dream, they'll always be there to buy your dream. I'm not a big fan of relying on politicians and what they can do or what they do, and blaming problems that are more of you-centered to them-centered. But then, above that, what are you even doing?
One thing people should realize that we have problems, yes. But now when the problems reach to the point of us having problems with food security,
exactly.
That's it for a country. That's it. We just said the other day, 75% of what actually farmers produce is what is being consumed.
Yeah.
So we leave alone this 20%. So whatever challenge is just 75%.
Yeah.
If you actually get to deal with this 75%, then you're good. You're way too good to go as a country.
No.
And now this is where this politician should come in, and it actually sensitizing and actually speaking for farmers.
Yeah.
Because people are actually hurting and crying, but the cry is not being heard, and their screams are not being heard.
Really?
People are screaming.
Really?
Farmers, let me just say people. Farmers, we as farmers, we are actually screaming.
A politician will come tell you that I've been crowned to be the spokesman of this community. Why don't you give us our problems? Are we here to be...
You are the spokesman then. And then...
Then, so, what are you doing that spokesmanship? That you're
just the question is...
Exactly.
And then...
So what? Are you using that position...
To our advantage.
To give back? Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, you're fighting for the citizen. You're fighting for your people.
Yeah.
Saying, I'm a specific person, I want to fight for the rights of this particular person or this particular group from this community. But... The other day you were in Marsabit. Do they have leaders?
Completely, they do.
Did they vote?
Actually, do you know what? They give an additional cash. I think it's for the marginalized.
Yeah, because they're the marginalized group in the community, in the country. Yes. Yeah. So they have like an upper hand.
Yeah, they're given more cash than
But what was the situation there?
Well, we don't talk much about it.
So
but then they do benefit from the situation. The bad situations, the lords of poverty. I'll just call them that. The lords of poverty.
They benefit from that.
Exactly. Last thing I will want to talk about, of course, as we wind up, 32 billion is the amount of money CS Peter Munya said will be needed to subsidize the cost of fertilizer. 32 billion. In the financial year 2021-2022, the budget that was allocated to agriculture as a sector was 60 billion. So 32 billion is close, more than half.
So that should not be a challenge right now.
So basically,
fertilizer prices, it's already sorted.
Basically, I won't lie to you, they cannot afford it. One section, maybe fertilizer alone, taking
half of it.
Half of the budget, they cannot afford it.
We have seeds, we have production costs and everything.
Exactly. And of course,
because farming is not just about fertilizers.
Yeah.
There's so many other things.
There's so much
transportation,
policy everywhere,
marketing.
Yeah, they will do that. And well, I think we should have a conversation about what we need to expect, what needs to be done in the upcoming budget, what farmers need in the upcoming budget. Because if this 32 billion is not part of that,
then
we're in very hot soup, even in the coming season. I don't know if you know the intensity of this, but then 32 billion needs to be found very soon. Kenya went to the World Bank seeking for 10 billion alone. 32 billion is such a huge amount.
That's a huge amount of money. That's like a huge
Exactly.
amount of money.
So the truth is that the CS said, well, they don't see themselves making any changes soon.
Because it's not a money that they just
they won't just wake up and get
the money.
On only fertilizer. I'm not looking into other things, fertilizer.
So the challenges that farmers are facing, it's just one key challenge that's affecting all the other challenges now.
Yeah.
Because if the fertilizer prices are high, this means whatever the yields I'm going to get, they're not good.
Yeah.
Then the market, we go back to the market again, which means I do not have market.
Yeah.
Now, it's
actually, market is one of those things that we were even set to discuss. Of course, time is running out.
But now, this that I'm saying, today we realized it's just one big giant problem that has other mini giants now inside. The market and everything, production costs, transportation and everything now falls under this big giant, which currently is. It was never a giant before, but right now it's the one big giant that we have.
Yeah.
And the fertilizers.
Farm inputs, everything.
Farm inputs. Not just say
basically
fertilizers.
The cost of farm
inputs.
The cost of farm inputs. Market has always been there. Rising cost of inflation, the rising cost of living, inflation, and stuff. While food inflation has always been up and down. Cost, demand, and supply, stuff. But then farm inputs, if they're high, trust me, the cost of living is not going to go down anytime soon. Of course. Let's close out the show. And today's proverb, I see Madam Director is going to pull it up. Of course, you can lead us there.
And today's the farmer's proverb is, advice is like a stranger. If he welcomes, he stays for the night. If not, he leaves the same day.
Exactly.
So, actually, today we're giving out advice. Today we're giving out advice, and this is for those people, not just politicians, not just politicians, but if you are in a good position to help, then
just push it. Just push it.
That's it.
Yeah. So
it's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
Because this is, you have a visitor, ukimkaribisha, then ataka.
Yeah.
Now, kama utaki akae, definitely ataenda.
Yes.
And now our advice today is your visitor, and this advice is knocking at your door.
Yeah.
Please welcome him. Please, for the farmers.
Absolutely, Mercy.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being part of this show. I see some breaking news, just a little, not much though. Safina Party endorses businessman Jimmy Wanjigi to run for president in the upcoming August 9th, 2022 general elections. So we have one more coming
presidential candidate.
Yeah, we can even crown you one, because I think it's very easy nowadays to do that.
It's easy, but I'm not 35 years yet. I have some years to go, but maybe seeing me somewhere, maybe MCA.
When you know,
we do it for Mr.
We do it for Mr. Noah. I think everybody's pulling to their own side.
Yeah.
It's really interesting though. Thank you very much, Mercy, for being part of this conversation.
You're welcome.
This is not the best way to start on every week
Monday,
by ranting and ranting.
We have to, because we as a farmers media, anytime we are the voice of the farmers.
The voice of the farmer.
If we don't, then they lose their trust.
Exactly.
And we don't want farmers to lose their trust.
Exactly.
So we have to talk it out.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mercy. And of course, we will continue with the conversation even tomorrow and all of this week. Remember, tomorrow is World Water Day.
Yes.
How are you conserving your water?
Yes, conserve water.
Exactly.
The sun is like really, really hot, so just conserve water. Don't waste water.
Exactly.
Don't leave running taps.
Yeah.
That's the common things.
Exactly. And rains are coming, so it means water is going to be there adequately.
Or even more.
Even more.
Over.
Exactly.
You're just going to have more of it.
Exactly. So while we'll be looking into some of the ways that you can conserve water within your farm, and at a time where there is climatic change
and the
little water
crops that are going to help you conserve the water.
Exactly. So thank you very much for being part of this conversation. Of course, the pilot has been Brian Mwenda, and of course my co-pilot
May Masike Munto.
And of course, until tomorrow, we say continue consuming information. And any final words?
Listen to the advice that is knocking on your door. Bye bye.
Bye bye.